Welcome to the Next Step Recovery podcast. We call this more than recovery because addiction is so much more than just getting clean from our addictions, our strongholds. It's really finding our purpose in life, and that's what we're here for each and every day. I like to say that we have three purposes here at the Next Step Recovery podcast. The first purpose is to encourage people, to encourage those who are struggling in their addiction or just in life. It doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be anything. So we want to encourage you. Number two, we want to educate you. We want to help you help other people. We want to help you help others. And then finally, we want to expand our reach. We want to expand our impact. We want to expand our partners. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to a great show. All right. Hey, Robert, good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
It's good to see you. Hey, I love doing our testimonies. We just got done doing a testimony with Jesse Kinney, and but part of our podcast too is also to educate. You know, we say we want to encourage, educate, and engage, right? That's what we like to do at the Next Step Recovery podcast, the More Than Recovery podcast. And today I want to hit on a topic that can probably be very controversial because politically, cannabis, we'll say cannabis, pot, weed, ganji, doobies, a blunt, whatever you want to call it. There's so many names that's right out there for cannabis. Yep. And politically, cannabis has become a political pawn. Yep. And not in our favor, right? And I hate to say that because you have so many politicians who are out there pushing, we'll say, medical marijuana. And I'm not saying there's not medical benefit to it, but there's so many other problems that the politics in Washington and your local state governments that it doesn't resolve anything. It actually creates more problems. And so as we talk about cannabis, the politics of it is really not about you. It's about tax dollars. Yeah. It's about the ability to tax a substance that's very popular. Just like alcohol, just like cigarettes. It's the ability to take advantage of you, the taxpayer, and your vulnerabilities and your emotions. This is a very emotional topic, right? People are going to be mad that we're talking about what we're going to say about cannabis, right? Yeah. They're not going to be happy. And I want to give a lot of what I'm going to talk about here today. I want to give a lot of credit to an expert probably in this field is Dr. Andrew Huberman. Dr. Andrew Huberman is a neurologist at Stanford University, one of the top neurologists in the country. And he does a lot of study in this field. And he is, again, a great resource. So a lot of information that I'm going to give you comes from him. Some of my education comes from Stanford. And so I kind of get connected into some of their stuff sometimes. But so a lot of what I'm going to share with you today about cannabis, and Dr. Andrew Huberman is not an anti-cannabis guy. He'll be right up front with you. He's kind of a, hey, live and let live guy. If you want to do it, do it. He he could care less one way or another. That's just how his approach to this. But so he's just going to be honest with us. He's going to be honest with us about the dangers and that it's not smart. This cannabis usage is not intelligent. Yeah. Intelligent people shouldn't be using cannabis, period. Period.
That's right.
I'll start with this, Robert. There's and I've got some notes here. I'm going to be referring to my notes, so forgive me as I look down and engage with Robert and then back to you. So, but there are several varieties. So the first thing I'm going to say then is the cannabis, it's not standard. And with most drugs, they're not standard unless you're getting your drugs from the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah. When we're talking about opioids. And different pills that they're producing, there's going to be a standard to that through the FDA. But then when you get into things like heroin, marijuana, there's not a standard way of producing marijuana. Growing it, there's hybrids of it. So I'll give you an idea here. There's two primary strands of marijuana that we engage in the culture. The first kind is called sativa. Sativa is the type of marijuana that will invigorate you. It stimulates you. It gives you energy, and it gives you an increased focus. Okay, that's why people like it.
Yeah.
And then there's another kind called indica. And the indica type of marijuana is the more of kick back, relax, man, I feel good, I'm relaxed. It helps to sedate you. It helps with anxiety and all those things. Initially, it does. Long term, it increases your anxiety. Okay. So you have the sativa, which is going to ramp you up, and then you have the indica, which is going to bring you down.
Chill you out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the indica, they say the indica, or you can remember indica, couch. That's what they say, indica, couch, it's going to lay you back. Right. And then there's several psychotic compounds within cannabis, marijuana, pot, if you will. Okay. First of all, you've heard of THC. THC is the most potent form, or the most potent psychotic compound inside of cannabis. Okay. And then you have CBD. We probably see CBD all over the place right now. It's not as active. It's not as potent, but it still has an impact on the brain.
It's more on the medical side too, when you're taking like CBD oil and stuff like that.
And that's because FDA is regulating it, right? FDA is regulating the CBD. So you're right. So you're going to see, you go down the road, what do you see?
Yeah, you see CBD stores, like all the medical stuff with it, and it's supposed to like calm it's supposed to help with like pain and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, right. So the CBD, the psychotic effects of it are much lower. And so the government has decided that, hey, we're going to regulate this and allow people to have, and I think what people will find is probably not as effective as they would like it to be, because it's not street. Okay.
Yeah, my wife was taking it for something, and she was like, "Yeah, this is not helping me."
No, it's not strong enough.
Yeah,
it's not. It's so. And then there's another. Here's the killer. Here's the kicker. Right. You have THC, you have CBD, and then there's another 70 compounds that we know nothing about inside of cannabis. There's another 70, more than 70 psychotic compounds that we know zero about. There's little research done on it, and so we know little.
That's the kicker right there,
right? Or the impact. What's the impact? We don't know, right? And then you have another 400 plus biologically active compounds within marijuana that we don't know a whole lot about too. So when you're putting this in your body, it's going to be a little bit risky. You don't know what you're doing. So then on top of that, so you've got indica, you've got sativa, you have THC, you have CBD, and then you have a number of other compounds that we don't know a lot about, and then you have hybrids of sativa and indica. You have hybrids of THC and CBD that are on the streets. And I can tell you right now, just through experience in what we do day to day at Next Step, that what is in marijuana today is dangerous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's not standard. And there's a lot of bad stuff that's being put into and mixed into marijuana today that we don't know. If you're buying it off the streets, you are playing Russian roulette a lot of times.
Yeah, especially with with like fentanyl and all that stuff. They're putting that stuff in drugs and things that'll kill you if you even touch it. So it's crazy.
And marijuana is popular. Cannabis is very popular. I was just sharing with the guys in here. I run through my neighborhood in the morning. I smell it. When I'm downtown Macon, I smell it everywhere. I smell it. You smell it in the cars going by. Your wife, Mary, my daughter had shared with me that when she worked at Chick-fil-A, at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, every other car smelled like pot coming through there, And so it's very popular. It's the third most popular drug in the world, behind alcohol and nicotine. It is the third most popular drug in the world. So it's very popular. Therefore, to politicians, they tax alcohol. They tax nicotine, and they want to tax marijuana. Right. So this is a political issue. It's not a health issue. It's cast as a health issue. it's not a health issue.
Yeah.
It's not. So I'm not saying there's not health benefits to it. I'm not saying that at all. But that's not the real reason politicians are taking advantage of you. And that's what they're doing. So you have a large majority of people who are using marijuana. The CBD part of it is regulated by the FDA and those products. But the vast majority of people who are using cannabis, marijuana, pot are using it recreationally, buying it off the streets, don't really know what's in it. And that's the vast majority of the population. And eventually what we're going to get to in this country is it's going to be legal across the board. It will be. That's coming. States are doing it. It is against federal law to use marijuana, but states are saying, well, we're not going to pay any attention to that. However, if you get caught using it on a federal installation, you're going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, when me and my grandparents, we took a trip out to Wyoming just for one summer, and we drove through Colorado on the way back. And Colorado is one of those states that marijuana is legalized. So they have like your weed shops and stuff where you can buy like marijuana brownies and stuff. It's so weird to see that because you don't see that here. Right. But you see it up there. It's a lot more frequent.
And the rate of mental health problems in the state of Colorado is skyrocketing due to the increased usage of marijuana at all levels. And they are struggling. Crime is skyrocketing. Mental health issues are skyrocketing.
Yeah, I wonder why.
At levels that they have never seen. But they will never admit what the real problem is.
They won't admit that the weed is the problem.
Right. So marijuana, cannabis is not standard, for the most part. Number two, cannabis use disrupts your body's natural cannabis system. So your body has a natural cannabis system built into it. That's why a lot of people think, well, we should be using cannabis because our body is built for it.
Yeah.
Well, it is built for it, but it also has a system that is designed to interact with it. And when we introduce outside cannabis through smoking it, through eating it, any of those, it disrupts the body's normal cannabis system. Okay. And I'll talk about that. So the body naturally has or naturally produces endocannabinoids. Big word, endocannabinoids in the organs, in the tissue, in the brain, in the heart, in the muscles. Our body naturally produces these endocannabinoids, which are related to cannabis. And then they bind with the body's natural cannabinoid receptors. Okay. You can also get doses of cannabis through certain foods. So certain foods, pepper, tomatoes, echinacea, spices are going to contain a certain level of cannabis that your body can take in a healthy way and absorb, and it's very healthy for you. And the benefits of cannabis to us are it strengthens your immune system. It helps with your appetite. We talk about when people use smoke pot, they get the munchies, right? They got to go to Taco Bell. That's why Taco Bell stays open late.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They're hitting that crowd. So it helps the immune system. It helps the mood. It helps my mood. So in the body's natural usage of cannabis that it's designed for, that's what it does. What happens though when I introduced those outside sources of cannabis into my system? Well, it's like trying to take a bowling ball and putting it into your pocket.
Doesn't work.
It does, yeah. Well,
you can try.
It'll get in there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tear up a whole lot of things. So when I introduce through smoking it, because heat stimulates cannabis, it makes it really active. That's why we smoke it. It really has an impact on you, right? So when I do that, I'm introducing that cannabis into a much greater volume into my body than my body accepts. So what's eventually going to happen is my body's going to say, you know what? I no longer need to produce cannabis, the cannabinoids, because now there's an alternative source coming in And so now my body is looking for it. It doesn't produce naturally. So I need to introduce it in a different way. Yep. And I become dependent on it because my body has stopped doing its natural functions. So then when I try to stop using, my body's going, I'm going to rebel.
Yep.
And I'm stuck in this cycle of addiction. Right. So it's going to have a greater effect then on mood, on appetite, it's going to hurt my immune system.
Yep.
Eventually it's going to, it helps me, or it does not help me to think clearly. It hurts my thinking. It hurts my ability to reason through things. It hurts my ability to think clearly. It overwhelms the system. And then like I said, then my body becomes dependent on that. Eventually that serves to increase anxiety, not reduce anxiety. I can't think clearly. I can't think logically. I can't plan things out correctly.
Yeah.
It disrupts the neuron communication within my brain. Okay. So it disrupts that process.
Yep.
It completely disrupts that process, and I can't organize thoughts in a way that I have typically been able to organize my thoughts. And that helps to increase anxiety and thoughts of depression and things like that. So in the long term, you maybe get some initial relief when you use marijuana.
Yeah.
But long term, it only serves to increase. I know people have been using marijuana for years, and their mental health is shot, completely shot. Their anxiety is through the roof. Their depression is through the roof, and their only answer is to keep using, and they don't realize that that's the cause. And so it's very sad.
Yep.
So what's the mental health impact? We kind of talked about that a little bit. The greatest impact is on people between the ages of 16 and 25, specifically males. 16 to 25, the brain really doesn't fully develop until we're 25 years old. Yeah. So the greatest impact is, so if we could say marijuana across the board is legal.
Yeah.
If it's legal, if you're between the ages of 16 and 25, you should not be using marijuana. You shouldn't use it at all.
Yeah.
It is highly destructive in those.
Yeah, I had a growing up, I went to a Christian school, right? So you would think everything is peachy keen there. But I had a friend growing up he was kind of a troublemaker. And he was actively using marijuana. Yeah. And he would share that with me. He even tried to get me to take some a few times, and I declined. But I was one of those people who was like, dude, you probably shouldn't do that. Like, it's probably doing more damage. He's like, no, it's not, it's fine. But now he's suffering from that. And, and it's really sad to see, but it definitely impacts the younger, when your brain is still trying to, fully develop. It definitely hurts you more than it helps you in that time.
It's disrupting the neuron activity in your brain, so that will have a lifelong impact.
Yeah.
So that will have a lifelong impact on people.
Yeah.
There was a study that was done back in July of 22 by a organization called the Lancet, Lancet, Lancet Psychiatry. Been around since 1823. They did a tremendous study. Over 4,000 different other studies were used at the same time. So they had 4,000 studies where they were looking at the impact of cannabis on people, specifically between the ages of 16 and 25. Well, here's what they found. You will increase your likelihood, Robert, of bipolar disorder or schizophrenia by 4 times by using marijuana.
And that's crazy. That's crazy.
Marijuana is not your friend. No. It is not your friend. It may seem like your friend.
It may not seem like it's, doing a lot of damage to you, but in reality, it's hurting you a lot more than it's, and then it's helping you.
That's right. Yeah. So, again, this is just a brief discussion today on cannabis. I'm not going to go. My job here is to just educate you a little bit.
Yeah.
Give you some data, give you some facts, because the politics side of it is not going to give you those facts.
Nope.
The people who are in favor of using it are not going to give you the facts. I'm just here to give you the facts. again, you can do with it what you want.
Yeah.
It is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, I've only used marijuana. That's it. Most people,
they'll start with that. Yeah.
They'll start, and then once the mental health issues start to come in and the marijuana is not fixing it anymore, I'm going to go to something stronger and stronger and stronger. So, Robert, any thoughts on that? Any last thoughts you have?
No, it makes total sense. A lot of people start with marijuana and then it turns into, your cocaine, your heroin, it just escalates from there, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So it totally, always growing up, you hear that, marijuana is the gateway drug, but it's 100% true. Yeah. And it is hurting you way more than it's helping you in that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If you have any questions for us, again, you can go to our website and get in touch with us through there at www.nextstepmen.org. We'll be glad to talk to you and appreciate you listening to us today. You may or may not agree with us. That's okay.
That's okay.
We're open to debate, and we'll love you anyway. Have a great day.